Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are really getting into the weeds on the 45th Ryder Cup, Bethpage Black. We've pulled together, well, everything we could find. Course specs, player updates, security plans, even the big money behind it all. And our mission is pretty straightforward. Cut through the hype and give you the real picture of the course, the teams, and the serious strategic challenges they're both facing.
Yeah, look, this is the big one, isn't it? Golf's Clash of the Titans. You've got Team USA still smarting from that pretty heavy loss in Rome back in 23. They want this one badly, especially on home turf. But they're up against a really solid European team, defending champions, led by Luke Donald. He knows how to get it done. It all comes down to these next 3 days.
Absolutely. And the course itself. That's maybe the main character here. Let's start with the venue. Bethpage Black, New York. It's a public course, which is amazing, but everyone knows that sign on the first tee. Warning, the Black course is an extremely difficult course.
Oh, it's more than just legendary. It's infamous. It's built to be punishing, plain, and simple. And that definitely plays into the U.S. team's hands, you'd think. We're talking a beast of a par 70, 7,352 yards long. But the real danger, it's those massive, steep bunkers. Get in one, you're struggling. And the rough. My goodness, it's incredibly thick, really dense. If you miss the fairway, forget just scrambling for par. You're probably dropping a shot. That kind of penalty just cranks up the match play pressure.
Right, so the course demands a certain type of game, certain players. Speaking of which, let's look at the teams. Europe looks strong on paper.
Yeah.
You've got Rory, Rahm, Åberg, Hovland, serious firepower. For the U.S., Captain Keegan Bradley.
Yeah.
Well, he's got stars, but you always wonder about health and form coming into something this intense.
Yeah. Health is always the X factor, isn't it? We do have some specific news on the U.S. side about Xander Schauffele. He missed the start of the year, remember, with a rib thing. Plus, he just became a dad late August, which is huge. But everything we're hearing says he's fully fit now, ready to go. And for Europe, those whispers about Justin Rose maybe being a bit stiff, forget it. He's confirmed, good to go.
And what about the Tiger factor? He's not playing, obviously, but...
Right. Tiger's still recovering from that Achilles rupture. He's out of action. But he's definitely around, kind of an informal advisor to Captain Bradley, giving some strategic thoughts. It's quite telling, actually, that he turned down the captaincy itself. Said it was because of his PGA Tour policy board duties. Shows you how much time that takes up. But back to Europe, Captain Donald said no major physical injuries. But he kept mentioning the mental side, the pressure from the New York crowd.
Ah, the crowd, yeah.
It suggests they see the fans, that intense home support, as maybe their biggest hurdle.
Okay, that focus on the mental game is a perfect lead-in to the actual strategy on day one. Let's break down these morning foursomes pairings. Alternate shot, this is where partnerships get tested right out of the gate. Precision is key.
Absolutely. Foursomes, it's tough. Alternate shot means you might be hitting your ball out of trouble, your partner just put you in, you need trust, and your games need to mesh. And the very first match, 7:10 a.m. Eastern. Wow. It's a statement from both sides. You've got the power of Bryson DeChambeau paired with Justin Thomas's great iron play against Europe's heavy hitters, Jon Rahm and Hatton.
Okay, hold on. I have to jump in there. Bethpage Black, tight fairways, killer rough. Leading with DeChambeau and foursomes, isn't that a huge gamble? Alternate shot needs consistency. Maybe not. Oh, well, not Bryson's potential for wild drives.
Well, that's the gamble, exactly. Bradley's betting that Bryson's length, if he finds the fairway, gives Thomas much shorter irons in, basically shrinks the course. If it works, huge advantage. But you're right, if he misses, and Bryson can miss big, Thomas is left scrambling from that brutal rough on a course that already eats you alive. It's definitely high risk, high reward.
Okay, fascinating strategy call right there. Who's up next?
16 minutes later, 7:26 a.m. Eastern, you get world #1 Scotty Scheffler. Mr. Consistency teamed with Russell Henley. They're facing Europe's rising star Ludwig Åberg and the very steady Matt Fitzpatrick. Then, 7:42 a.m. Eastern, Colin Morikawa and Harris English. They draw maybe Europe's most reliable pairing, Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. Europe banks on those two.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac, they call him. Okay, and who anchors the morning session?
Last match off at 7:58 a.m. Eastern. It's the U.S. power pairing, usually automatic points. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. They're against Robert MacIntyre and Viktor Hovland. So, yeah, it looks like a really tight session on paper. And remember, this afternoon, it switches to 4-ball, better ball. That's where players can be a bit more aggressive, play their own game.
Right, different dynamic. Now, this is where I find it really gets interesting, the prep. What were the teams actually doing in practice to get ready?
Yeah, two pretty different approaches, it seems. Team USA, maybe predictably, focused on the course itself, testing aggressive lines.
Yep.
DeChambeau specifically was apparently trying to drive some greens from the tee during practice rounds.
Wow, okay.
Europe, though, their focus seemed much more psychological. They actually used virtual reality headsets in practice.
Get out. VR headsets.
For what?
To simulate the noise, the rowdiness of the New York crowd, trying to get used to that wall of sound.
That just shows how seriously they're taking that mental strain Captain Donald mentioned. Using VR. Exactly. It shows they see the crowd not just as noise, but as a real factor they need to plan for. Although, John Rahm apparently warned them. He said something like, "Real New York fans are way more creative and unpredictable than any simulation." Which is probably true.
Probably right.
So yeah, the mental game is huge, and Europe seems very focused on it.
Well, speaking of pre-event contests, the U.S. did get a small win in the Celebrity All-Star match earlier this week. A bit of fun, I guess. But that's nothing compared to the main event and the sheer scale of the operation we need to talk about next.
Oh, absolutely. Let's connect this to the bigger picture, logistics. We're talking about managing 50,000 fans every single day. That's like a small city popping up at Bethpage State Park.
50,000 a day. How on earth do you even get that many people in and out?
Well, first off, you don't drive your own car there. There's absolutely no public parking allowed at the course itself. Everyone has to go to these satellite lots. Jones Beach State Park is one of the main ones, and then take these 30-minute shuttle rides.
A 30-minute shuttle.
Yeah.
Oak?
Yeah, it's a major undertaking. And then layered on top of that, you've got security, which is significantly heightened this year, especially because President Trump is expected to visit on Friday.
Right, that changes everything. So airport-style security, TSA screening at the gates.
Pretty much. Expect those kinds of checks. Strict rules, too. No big bags, no drones, no laptops, no tablets. And the authorities have their own stuff, drones for surveillance, canine units patrolling. It's a very visible, very serious security presence. Managing the crowd, managing the risk.
And once you finally get through all that, being a fan inside isn't cheap, is it? We saw some concession prices.
No, definitely not cheap.
No.
Our sources noted things like a Michelob Ultra 16 ounce, that's $15. An IPA, $19.
$19 for an IPA.
Yep. And the transfusion cocktail, apparently quite popular, is $19.50.
Wow.
But look, those prices aren't just random. They're part of the whole financial engine that makes an event like this possible.
Okay, let's talk about that engine, the big business side. Because staging this with 50,000 people, that security level, the global broadcast, the cost must be astronomical.
It absolutely is. And it's basically all paid for by corporate sponsors. Just look at the list of main partners: Aon, BMW, Capgemini, Citi, DP World, Rolex, SAP. These aren't just everyday brands. They're huge players in finance, tech, luxury goods.
Right.
Their involvement tells you who this event targets that high net worth demographic attending or watching globally. The money from those expensive beers and cocktails, plus the massive sponsorship deals, that's what funds the whole spectacle. It connects this elite golf directly to big finance and luxury marketing.
So the $19 IPA helps pay for the Rolex clock. Makes sense, in a way. But despite the cost, the atmosphere inside will be intense. The noise is a huge part of the Ryder Cup story, especially in the U.S.
It really is, and Team Europe knows it. They specifically practice dealing with that classic USA chant. There's no official decibel limit, apparently, but there are very strict rules against abusive behavior. Loud is okay, nasty is not.
Okay, good to know. Quickly, before we look ahead, the weather. We had that overnight storm.
Yeah, heavy rain came through. So early on Friday, we might see some soft fairways. Could lead to preferred lies, lift, clean, and place, which usually helps scoring. But the forecast looks good after that. It's expected to clear up. Temperature is pretty comfortable, like 18 to 26 Celsius, low chance of more rain.
Good. Okay, for everyone wanting to watch, what are the key broadcast times?
Right, for folks in the U.S., coverage starts Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. That's the Foursomes. Then the afternoon four-ball matches kick off around noon Eastern.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together for you, the listener. We see the strategies in the pairings, the players dealing with fitness and mental prep, and this massive, highly secure, very expensive bubble they're operating in. It really feels like a collision between precision golf, raw national pride, New York style, and a course that just waits to punish any mistake.
It's that blend, isn't it? Elite skill under pressure, the security overlay, the psychological gamesmanship. It's unique. Remember, Captain Donald's only injury concern for Europe was that mental pressure from the crowd. And they actually trained for it with VR.
So here's the final thought to leave you with. Given everything we've discussed, the intense visible security, the TSA checks, the drones, the presence of a figure like President Trump, what kind of pressure does that create? Not just the noise, but the whole atmosphere, the security apparatus itself. How does that dynamic, that maybe unspoken pressure, impact the players out there trying to win points this weekend? That's the invisible element we'll be watching for as this thing unfolds.